In this video, I'm going to take you through the different steps in order to acquire your project resources. According to the draft version of the PMBOK 8 edition, we have 5 processes, and these processes are distributed through 3 process groups. We know that in total we have 5 process groups. We have the initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and finally the closing process groups. But here, when it comes to managing resources, we have processes for only 3 process groups, which are the planning, execution, and monitoring and controlling. Let's go through these different processes and try to understand the logic behind their order and what each process contains. The first process is about planning resource management. What is that? Actually, this is response to the how question. How we are going to acquire resources? Are we going to hire an internal team? Are we going to hire external team? How is the process? What are the different steps? What are the motivations for the team? What are the type of contracts? All these are discussed in the plan resource management. So this replies to the how question. But the actual resources that our project needs is not here. It's in another document that we are going to see in the next process. The next process is about estimating activity resources. This means that we are going to have the work breakdown instruction in front of us, and we are going to define the role requirements and responsibilities. So each of the activities within our WBS will require some kind of skills that we need to get in our team, and that's where we identify what our project needs in terms of human resources and in terms of skills. And once we define our requirements when it comes to human resources, we develop a staffing plan, which is a plan that defines when exactly do we need those resources, at what time, what are the number of human resources that we need for each step of the project. So this is the staffing plan that we do during the planning phase. Now we finish all the preparation for the planning. We are done with the resource management plan and we are done with the staffing plan. Now we move to the execution, and during the execution phase, we start with acquiring resources. And when it comes to acquiring resources, we need first to source candidates, which means that we need to get in touch with the HR of our organization and inquire about the different processes that we need to go through in order to make this plan happen. Also, it means that we need to get the right access in order to post the job in the right platform, such as LinkedIn or any other job posting platforms. And once we have the list of candidates, we move forward with selecting the right candidate. And selecting the right candidate could go through different interviews, different tests, and a lot of processes that we have in place and that we already defined in this resource management plan. And once you select the right candidate, you onboard the candidate, and onboarding the candidate could start from the moment of accepting the candidate and the candidate accept the offer. At that time, you start sending some documents to read, try to welcome this candidate in order to be ready at the time of joining the project. That's a very important phase when getting new resources into the project, because once you do the onboarding in a right proper, the new member will have a full energy and will have motivation, and they will get an idea about the project even before starting. So don't ignore this step and try to focus a lot of this. That's so important. You know about first impression. This is where you have the opportunity to give a first impression about the company and the project. Don't wait until the first day in order to onboard the team member. The onboarding starts from the date that the team member accepts to join the company, trying to send welcoming emails, send some documentations to read, and try to give introduction to the different processes, what's gonna happen during the first few days. Now we have the team member joining the project. First days, try to welcome this new team member and assign responsibilities. I have seen in my experience a lot of team members that are unclear about their job requirements. That's a big mistake. Try as a project manager to make requirements for the team members very clear from the beginning. If you have a team member that don't have a job requirement in a written format, try to do that right now. Try to make responsibilities clear for the team member so they know and they become accountable for the work that they are going to do. So this is the first step for when we have a team joining the project. And once they start working and get some responsibilities, try to manage and support the team member. This means that you are going to resolve any conflicts, give feedback, try to remove any blockers, try to use emotional intelligence in order to understand whether this team member is comfortable working on the project or not. All this is within leading the team, which is using or employing leadership skills in order to achieve the objectives of the project using the resources that you have. Next, we move on to the monitoring and closing, and we have a control resources process. This means that you are going to control what is planned versus what is done. And here means that if your staffing plan is not implemented appropriately, you need to check in what's going wrong. Do the staffs that you have for your project not enough to execute the project? Do you have any flaws in the plan, etc.? All this is in the control resource processes. Don't overlook this process. It's so important to achieve the objectives of the project. If you find that there is a need for preventive or corrective actions, then if you are working in a predictive environment, then you need to issue a change request. And if you are working in agile settings, then you need to notify the product owner and start to work on finding alternative options.